Proceed with insemination. Record all physiological reactions. The order was written in Russian in 1926. The air in Kindia, French Guinea, hung thick and wet. The jungle hummed beyond the compound walls. Inside a small laboratory built under colonial authority, a restrained female chimpanzee lay on a metal table. A syringe was prepared. The man overseeing the procedure believed he was about to rewrite evolution. His name was Ilya Ivanovich Ivanov. And for a brief moment in Soviet history, the creation of a human-ape hybrid was not science fiction. It was state-funded research. The Soviet Union in the 1920s was a nation obsessed with transformation. After the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917, Vladimir Lenin and later Joseph Stalin sought to reshape society, industry, agriculture, even biology. Science was not just inquiry, it was ideology. Darwin's theory of evolution was embraced by Soviet intellectuals as a weapon against religion. If humans evolved from apes, then the divide between species was not sacred. In 1924, Ilya Ivanov, born July 20, 1870, in Shigri, Kursk Governorate, submitted a formal proposal to the Soviet Academy of Sciences. He wanted to create a human-chimpanzee hybrid. Ivanov was not a fringe figure. He was a respected biologist known for pioneering artificial insemination in animals. He had successfully crossbred horses and zebras, cattle and bison. He believed reproductive barriers could be challenged with modern techniques. On paper, his argument was scientific to test evolutionary proximity, but beneath it was something more radical. A biological statement that humanity was not divine. The Academy approved funding. In 1926, Ivanov traveled to French Guinea, then under colonial rule, to access chimpanzees in larger numbers. He worked in facilities near Kindia, approximately 10.05 degree N, 12.87 degree W. His first plan was direct. Inseminate female chimpanzees with human sperm. 3 attempts were documented. None resulted in pregnancy. No hybrid was born. Nature refused. But Ivanov did not stop there. If a chimpanzee could not carry a human embryo, he proposed the reverse. Inseminate human women with chimpanzee sperm. Upon returning to the Soviet Union in 1927, Ivanov sought permission to conduct further experiments at a primate research station in Sukhumi, Georgia. Approximately 43.00 degree N, 41.02 degree E, the Sukhumi Primate Research Center was established on the Black Sea coast. It became one of the largest primate facilities in the world, and it nearly became the site of something unprecedented. Archival documents from the Russian State Archive confirm Ivanov's proposal included recruiting female volunteers. There is no credible evidence that human insemination was ever performed. But the fact that the proposal reached high-level officials reveals how seriously it was considered. This was not a basement experiment. It was reviewed, funded, scheduled. Why? To understand, you must step into the ideological furnace of early Soviet science. The 1920s and 1930s were an era of radical biological experimentation. Trofim Lysenko would later rise to prominence, rejecting Mendelian genetics in favor of politically convenient theories. The state believed biology could be molded like steel. Ivanov's hybrid would have been proof of materialism, that humanity was not spiritually unique. But politics turned. In 1930, amid Stalin's purges, Ivanov was arrested. Officially, he was accused of counter-revolutionary activities. He was exiled to Alma-Ata, Kazakhstan. On March 20th, 1932, he died of a stroke. His project died with him. Or so it seemed. Throughout the 20th century, rumors surfaced that Soviet scientists had secretly succeeded. Stories of humanzees locked in remote facilities. Cold War propaganda amplified the myth. American tabloids speculated about Soviet super soldiers bred from primates. No verified evidence supports these claims. Genetically, humans have 46 chromosomes. Chimpanzees have 48. Though DNA similarity approaches 98 to 99%, chromosomal incompatibility makes viable hybridization extraordinarily unlikely. Modern geneticists widely agree a natural hybrid would almost certainly fail during embryonic development. Yet the fear persists. Because Ivanov's documented attempt makes the legend plausible. And the Sukhumi Primate Research Center did not disappear. During the Cold War, Sukhumi housed thousands of monkeys used for vaccine research, radiation studies, and neuroscience experiments. The Soviet Union tested exposure limits for space travel using primates. In the 1950s and 1960s, as the space race intensified, primates became biological proxies for human endurance. The lab was not myth, it was real. Concrete buildings, steel cages, salt air drifting from the Black Sea, scientists in white coats recording data. What did they discuss behind closed doors? The Cold War climate makes the story darker. After World War II, the United States absorbed former Nazi scientists under Operation Paperclip. The Soviet Union did the same. Both superpowers pursued biological advantage. In that context, Ivanov's dream of hybridization became part of a broader fear that science might weaponize evolution itself. There is no declassified Soviet file confirming a successful hybrid, but secrecy was the default setting of the era. The KGB maintained strict control over research institutions. Failure could be erased. Success could be classified. The psychological core of this story is ambition. Ivanov was not trying to create a monster. He believed he was advancing science. He saw the hybrid as proof of evolutionary continuity. But in doing so, he crossed into ethical territory that even his contemporaries found disturbing. The idea of inseminating human women with animal sperm shattered moral boundaries. Consent in the Soviet Union was murky at best. Power imbalances were extreme. The experiment blurred species and autonomy. The climax of this story is not the birth of a hybrid. It's the moment we realize how close it came to being attempted. A state-backed scientist, a funded proposal, a designated laboratory, and volunteers possibly being sought. Nature intervened where ethics hesitated. Ivanov's exile ended the official project. But the Sukhumi facility remained active until the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. During the Georgian-Abkhaz conflict in the early 1990s, parts of the center were damaged. Today, the facility operates on a reduced scale. The buildings still stand. Cages still line the grounds. The Black Sea still crashes against the shore. The aftermath is layered. No human-chimpanzee hybrid has been verified. Modern gene editing technologies like CRISPR have reopened conversations about species boundaries. In 2019, Chinese scientist He Jiankui announced the birth of genetically edited babies, a different kind of boundary crossing. He was later sentenced to prison on December 30th, 2019. The line between possibility and prohibition remains fragile. Ivanov died believing he had failed. But the true legacy of the Soviet human ape labs is not a creature in a cage. It's the reminder that governments once considered redefining humanity at the genetic level, quietly, bureaucratically, with paperwork. The labs were not hidden in forests. They were coastal research stations, funded by academies, reviewed by committees. That is what makes this unsettling. The monster was not a hybrid. It was the willingness to try. If a scientist today proposed inseminating species across evolutionary lines, bioethics boards would intervene. But in 1926, in a humid laboratory in French Guiana, a syringe hovered over a chimpanzee because a government believed biology could be engineered into ideology. The Soviet Union is gone. The archives remain. And somewhere in those archives, Ivanov's proposal still sits. A reminder that once, humanity nearly attempted to manufacture its own missing link. The next time someone says evolution is settled science, ask how far they're willing to prove it.